Hey there, everyone. My name is Noamin, and this is the Arc of Truth. Today is February 15th, 2019, and it's currently 9:16 p.m. Just to let you all know before I start this video on the border wall, I'm gonna make another video, and this is for all you anime fans, and it's about the firing of Vic Magnona. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I butchered his name. I'm just not that familiar with his last name. It's pretty unique, to be quite honest with you. But I will be making a video tomorrow on that. So what we have today is we already knew that just 2 days ago, Congress, both the House and the Senate, decided to pass a bill which included funding for a border wall and at least $22 billion of barrier enhancement, whatever the hell that means, of the southern border. But here's the thing: it's only going to be $1.4 billion that Trump is going to get, which is a quarter fraction that he proposed, and it's only going to cover 55 miles. That's the big issue, and he wasn't excited, and a lot of other Republicans at the same time were not excited, but unfortunately, it did get enough Republicans to pass the bill in order to get it signed into office. Here's the thing, though. President Trump, while he did say that he is going to sign the bill, probably as a means of showing a little bit of compromise as to prevent another government shutdown. But he is also making a national emergency. Now, these two events are linked more than just about the border wall, because originally in Styx, Hex, and Hammer 666 actually makes a more detailed process about this. He did mention that Nancy Pelosi said that there will be no deal, no negotiation on building the border wall. That's what she said, I think it was back in December. And considering that $1.4 billion, no matter despite the fact that it's, of course, a fraction of what Donald Trump wanted, she caved on that issue. She did, and she kind of broke that promise. So it's gonna be a clear issue in 2020 over that case. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the situation. But and considering that Donald Trump actually signed this bill, yeah, it's not really gonna be in the working out for the Democrats anytime soon, because, well, one, he does get his border wall money, or, well, a fraction of it, and two, the Democrats caved, and three, it's preventing a government shutdown, which they could easily have used as an excuse in the 2020 election. They could have easily said, oh, look how bad Donald Trump is doing. He's willing to shut down the government, or at least partially, in order to just get what he wants. He is a mean person, and they could have easily done that. Although, then again, I think public opinion has turned more against the Democrats than it did against President Donald Trump. Despite this idea that the media says that a lot of people are blaming President Donald Trump. Now, while that I think it's true in this certain case, I think that more people are being more involved with politics. That's what I personally think as a result. But continuing on, Donald Trump has officially made this as a national emergency. Now, normally in a national emergency, there's it's supposed to be that during that, should the president get a national emergency, he is allowed to do a multitude of things, such as transfer military money, like from the Pentagon to, in this case, well, build the wall. And there have been a lot of other lot of other actions that have resulted from national emergencies, some of which were borderline unconstitutional. And what? And I've actually been hearing a lot of people thinking that this will be challenged on its constitutionality, and also may actually set a precedent should it actually continue. Now, here's the thing. I do not believe that this will set a precedent, and it will be because of, the court rulings and the court rulings and just the overall debate which will ensue. I think that as Donald Trump's national emergency is going to be debated in the courts, it's going to eventually create new limits. That's why I think it is. And at the same time, a lot of the past national emergencies, which actually started under President Woodrow Wilson back in 1917, most of them were concerning about national security. There were a few exceptions, such as FDR declaring a bank holiday, and also the steel, trying for Harry Truman to take up the the steel mills, even though that was ruled unconstitutional. But again, most of them revolve around the idea of national security, and I think that's where Donald Trump has an advantage for, because usually in the case of national emergencies, they have to present a clear and present danger to the American people. And considering that a lot of things have happened in the past, especially with terrorism and with the caravans, I think that's very, very legitimate. And that's especially legitimate considering that it's currently an open border. Now, I get a lot of people saying that I get that a lot of people are saying that this may actually I'm sorry, I kind of made I have a loss for words for a moment. Give me a second. This will not be very good, and that it's not really fitting within the definition of a national emergency. Which, honestly, the people who say that, like Jim Acosta recently, I'm calling bullshit on that, because I'm gonna be going back to 2018, September 2018. Back in 2018, the FBI raided a compound in New Mexico. I'm pretty sure you guys remember this. But these guys found 11 starving children and the remains of a toddler, and actually several of these guys turned out to be not only Islamic terrorists but illegal immigrants. And these guys were sentenced overall for not just illegal immigration, but unlawful possession of firearms, attempting to commit offense, like an uprising, and a few other things. In fact, these guys were actually planning on using U.S. children and train them to attack schools. And that's just one issue. Like I said before, a lot of the caravans that have been pulling up, and especially the violence that they cause, just trying to get into the border because they don't want to go through the process, it already is concerning. So that would definitely be a clear and present danger to the American people and their way of life, and just the enforcement of our laws in general. Now, I've also been hearing from another side of the aisle that, President Donald Trump is making a national emergency that isn't really supposed to be a national emergency. And while I didn't mention that before, I'm talking about what the Democrats call a national emergency, because Nancy Pelosi, the current Speaker of the House, actually mentioned that that today is the first anniversary of the Parkland shooting. Sad, yes, but she was actually calling on a, I think, rather sarcastic, in a way sarcastic, for in a sarcastic tone, that Donald Trump would declare a national emergency just for that. And I just think that is so completely stupid. While it is true that school shootings are a major problem and we should address that, that national emergency would conflict with our Second Amendment. That would be a major conflict. And I think that a lot of people, kind of like how a lot of people now are dealing with Trump's national emergency in the southern border, would challenge that issue, because it borders along the lines of beyond the Constitution. That is the major problem I have with this. So, in the end, I think that in the end, I think that Donald Trump is going to use this national emergency to his own advantage. Yeah, he's going to be attacked from all sides, and in fact, he actually expects it, and he expects it to be taken to court, kind of like how the travel ban was. But in the end, I think he's going to succeed. I think that the reason why he's going to succeed is because this obviously shows that the southern border is a clear and present nature to the American way of life, and that this would not conflict with any of our constitutional values, as well as any federal laws whatsoever. As far as I know, if there are any, please let me know, and I would love to look it up, and maybe just delve deeper into them. But overall, I think that Donald Trump is going to get his wall, and I think his supporters are going to too. And I think that this will definitely ensure his 2020 re-election, if the Democrats haven't already done it so far. My name is Noah Meehan on The Arc Truth. Please put your comments down below, subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. Bye.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.